All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chiefy Mcfly. He is a painter from Detroit, doing some very excellent work right now. He came on my radar when I saw that he was hassled, harassed, and arrested by the Detroit Police Department for putting up a piece of work that he was commissioned to do. And then from then, I've been a fan of Sheefy and have been watching closely to what he's doing, and I'm glad to have him here. Also, Sheefy makes music too, so he makes this really authentic Detroit roots music, if you want to think of it in that sense. And I'm not saying roots reggae. I'm saying serious roots of Detroit, serious roots of dance music that happens here, and. Sheefy, last week I talked to Amp Fiddler, and we were talking about how it's really interesting how an artist can go into making music and it be accepted a lot easier than a musician going into painting or going into being a visual artist. What do you think about that?
My whole life I kind of battled with that. That's been like my biggest thing to tackle, because I want to show everybody that art and music is the same thing. It's like the same exact thing. It's just humans expressing themselves. And I feel like once we can break that barrier, we can have a lot more people seeking therapy through art as well as music. Because the more that I do, the more that I dig deeper into my visual art, because I was a painter before a musician, I see that it's a lot of musicians that were artists as well, vice versa. You know, you got Andre 3000, you know, Basquiat, he used to produce music, you know, so it's just, I feel like it's free form expression. But once it comes to the point of like boxing it in and thinking about how our listeners and our viewers can digest it, that's when we become shy of being everything. But I feel like every artist can do everything.
Great. So your process, do you find that you have more inspiration from your art inspiring your music, or your music inspiring your art?
I say like it go in seasons. Like I have seasons where like I'm focusing on a music project and my art is on the back burner. But since pandemic, my art has been like the foreground. So it's really been setting the tone for my music. So I've been using everything that I've been making from art, investing into my music, making it better. So I feel like if you can make them work together, it'll seem seamless. Like you don't even realize it at a point.
That's great. Yeah, because it's I find that it's everything for me gets inspired by whatever happens. So it could be the most menial thing that happens in a day. There can be some type of inspiration that comes about it. But I used the analogy that like with music, you know, sometimes my music is my wife and my wife's my lover. And sometimes my wife is my wife, but my music is my lover. You know, because you get that, and you get that thing. Like sometimes you have to put the music aside because it's just getting on your nerves, and you're just like, okay, you know, I need a little bit of break, and then, you know, I need to go see my lover, so you go see your wife, and then, and then the wife, you know, things aren't going to be rosy all the time, even though I have a great marriage, but but it's not going to be great all the time. But when you do find your thing that happens with the music, then it's like, oh yeah, you get excited. That's your lover. The music gets to, you know, you can have your way with your music, and I love that dynamic that I can have between that. And then now doing the piece with Dia, there's another thing there. So I'm not sure how to relate that yet. Maybe it's a menage a trois. I don't know.
That's what it seemed like it'll become. Like once you really, like, you know, open up and find your media as an artist, like it's just expression gonna be endless. You feel me? So you're gonna have to add another seat to the table for sure.
So you say you started as a painter. what did you start doing? I mean, were you using brush and paint? Were you using spray paint? What was your medium when you started?
Um, just drawing. My mom started me
Okay.
off with like drawing Fred Flintstone, so just like drawing at home. And then I was going to art classes young, like third or fourth grade. My teachers used to see that I was really into art, and I've been taking classes like at CCS and the DIA since then. So I
Hmm.
just been finding my route through Detroit, like going to different art schools. I went to Elmdale, to Art Middle School. I went to Detroit School of Arts. I went to College for Creative Studies. So I found my way as an artist through Detroit just to figure out, like, the art is up to you. You can only learn so much. It's about the artist. So I could say the past decade has been more so freelance, learning about my art in different media. So I really didn't pick up a spray can until like 5 years ago. And then
Okay.
that's when I started doing more murals because I stayed in Eastern Market when Murals in the Market started. So it showed me the impact of, what murals have on the community. Because, I would see like Tyree Guyton, growing up, or a Turtle or Elmer. So I would see the difference between like public art, murals, and graffiti. So
Mm.
it's a stigma in Detroit where they more so see everything as graffiti, but murals in the market was that changing point. So
Right.
once I seen like it was lane for that, that's when I picked up a spray can and then started doing more murals, and then that's when it really took off.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, with Tyree Guyton, I think that was maybe the first real impact as an adult that I had by seeing his work. And, you know, by seeing it, it made me realize that the best art not only takes chances, but it gets people's imaginations going, but it also makes a lot of people angry. And
Exactly.
Tyree was making a lot of people angry in Detroit. And I loved, I absolutely love that. He made enemies with Mayor Coleman Young, and he had just that one house of all the doll baby heads on it. That was uh, Heidelberg and whatever the cross street is. I can't remember. But
Mm-hmm.
I saw that, and that really had a lot of impact on me musically, because I saw that you don't have to play it safe. You can
Mm-hmm.
just go outside of the box. You could do anything crazy, and the only thing that's going to hold you back is your own imagination and your
Exactly.
own. You have to be fearless about what you did, and I see what he did as being fearless, or does as being fearless. So, I mean, is that the same kind of thing that you're seeing from that you got from Tyree's work or anyone else's work in Detroit, or?
Yeah, I think Tyree is a big inspiration. There's so many different artists that inspire me in Detroit. You got Charles McGee that just passed.
Okay.
So rest in peace, Charles McGee. He was a 90-year-old black artist, like just crazy talented. He had sculptures and murals all around Detroit. You got Hubert Massey. He's like a master painter. Like he does like huge frescoes. He has a fresco in Cobo Hall. You got Sydney James. She's painting murals all around the world. I feel like she's one of the best. It's not even about male or female with her. It's like she's the best. Like her work ethic and the things that she do. It's so many different people. Antonio Robertson, Antonio Hooligan. We went to middle school together. So it's some artists that I've seen like grow up with me. It's artists that I've seen like follow their own path, and they also made a path for artists like myself unknowingly. So I see like, that's what we have to do as Detroit artists. We have to carve a lane, and we have to spread knowledge about everything. Because I feel like even with me learning about techno, I didn't learn about techno until my mid-20s. And once I figured it out, I felt like I had a birthright. And I felt like I feel like techno is the equivalent of painting with music, because with techno, once I learned about it and seeing like the OGs was really creating that Detroit soundscape, we was really making that sound, like it came from us. Like that's the same thing as somebody painting on the canvas, and just to make a whole genre of music different just from scratch. I feel like that's like cubism, so to speak. So just really seeing things of that nature, just so many just innovative producers and artists and just beings coming from Detroit, it just really lit a fire under me to really push the legacy of Detroit and take Detroit everywhere that I go. So even like with me being in LA, like I still represent Detroit while I'm here, you know.
Mm. And how important is that to you to represent Detroit? You know, because when I see the things that you post when you were on Channel 2 News, it's like, yeah, he's from Detroit. It's like, for real, he's from Detroit.
Like I feel like with me, I just had so many moments where it just comes out of me naturally. So that was just like a natural, just like I was just me being me, you know, just Eastside Sheefy, you know, like that. That's all I know. And that Detroit got a different pride. You feel me? So it's like when you able to show off and say where you from and what you do, like you're gonna go crazy. So that's really what's that news clip. Like that news clip was like wasn't even scripted, but you know, hair was looking tight and right. You feel me? Had on the Temptation shirt. You know, everything was feeling good. Even though I just got busted the week before. You feel me? So it's like those moments I live for. You feel me? Just to really feel good and exude myself. Because sometimes me being me help others be themselves, or help others be happy as well. So that's what I really try to put in my as well as my music.
Good. Yeah. So I did play a piece of yours today, 20 Bitches Deep. And I played that because it's so Detroit. Like it's like it encapsulates the fantasy of a new artist. You know, it encapsulates the desire of, you know, why people get into making records, or, you know, like going into the club 20 bitches deep. That's like, you know, that's like every guy that's in their bedroom that listen to Prince records of him. You know, it's just like, I can imagine me being 14 and hearing that song. It's like, yeah, I want to be like that. I want to do that. So I had to play that one. And it also leads into that kind of it's kind of that Detroit tradition from like Detroitno, you know, that chuck 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 chuck, and you know these other tracks that could be seen as footwork records, but they're actually techno records, you know. So yeah,
like I went through a whole that's what was so crazy about learning about like techno, ghetto tech, the footwork and juke. I had to unlearn a lot of things because in Detroit we were so blessed to hear so much on the radio. I thought everybody just heard them tracks on the radio, you know, Godzilla, you know, Let Me Bang and all that, you feel me? But once I really started figuring out, like, oh snap, you feel me, like a lot of this is just old techno songs just sped up, you feel me? Like that's what we was always dancing to. So we always, like the history was always around, we just really didn't do our research. So once I started doing research and, you know, digging into like the underground artists and DJs, that's when I got hip to Moody. You feel me? Once I got hip to Moody, that was like the coolest motherfucker I ever seen. You feel me? Like he was just him. And he ain't give a fuck. He was just him. He ain't give a fuck. Like, and I love that about him. So my whole shit was like, all right, I gotta find Moody, man. I gotta find this nigga. Ended up finding him. Now, you know, he picked out some records, and 20 Bitches Deep was like the favorite record. You feel me? He was like, no, this the one. You feel me? And I made that just with a friend. I remember being in the basement. I used to have my lady friends come through. You know, we, you know, take some shots and shit, you know, get fucked up, smoke some weed. I'd be like, say anything on the mic. Say whatever you want on the mic. You feel me? Any motherfucking thing. So one of my friends, we down there chilling, and she just walked up on the mic. She was like, walk in the party. 20 bitches deep. I'm like, that's it. That's all you need to say. You don't got to say shit else. And from there, I just flipped it. And then it's like, you know, it's an underground anthem. You feel me? At least for when I do my parties, because I just like to spend my shit. That's the only way you're going to hear this from me. You feel me? So, yeah, I feel like that's a great first step into the game for me. 20 bitches deep.
Yeah, it's a great track. And the cover is quite dynamic as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did the
yeah,
cover too. He let me do the cover, everything. You feel me? So it was just like he let me be me on the album, and I just felt I was like, this is my first time in the game. This is my first vinyl. Everything they got to know when I'm playing in the basement, when I'm doing at these parties. Because in Eastern Market, I used to pack like 400, 500 people in, like, the crib in the loft,
mm,
so playing tracks. So I wanted to get that essence. And that was like the name, Edward Electro. I
hmm
felt that was my techno alter ego, Edward Electro. So that was
okay,
my take on the album. And then, yeah, Moody just gave me the green light to do everything.
yeah,
So, yeah, that's the blueprint right there.
good, good, good. Um, I don't know how much you know about Sun Ra and his music, but Sun Ra um, used to do pressings, and then he would just take a blank cover and then put some type of art on it. He would do some type of hand mural, and I don't know if Sun Ra was really trying to be an artist or if he was actually a guy, because I know him, of course, as being a jazz guy, but he comes from way back, blues, bebop, and blues and uh, shoot, what's it called? Like I can't remember what it. But anyway, he became more of a jazz musician, a jazz legend, and then got to be really flamboyant and out there, and his logic of Saturn and all these things. But Francisco Mora, who's a mentor of mine, he had given me a bunch of records at one point, and he would talk about how Sun Ra liked to add his own thing to cover. So he wouldn't do like a printed cover. He would do, a special one-off type of art piece for
Yeah,
his releases. And I even think that the labels, because thinking about it, that he might have even not painted on the labels, but he had a design and then he would cut them out. Because I do remember some of the labels, you could tell somebody with scissors had cut
yeah,
around, tried to make a perfect circle, and then stuck it on. And
yeah.
it's like, it's like you think it's jank, but it's actually quite cool what this guy was doing, because he was taking his own, his own career, his own music, his own ideas, and controlling it. And that was his thing. And what Kenny let you do is control your first release, which is amazing for anyone's first release, is that you could do whatever you want, and and put out the product, and it's you from beginning to end. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Like I'm not like super hip to Sun Ra, but I definitely heard like a lot of his music, and I love like the way that he put on his shows. I seen like clips of his shows and stuff. And I feel like it's a lot. I've been seeing a lot of things where music and art, man, like combining together. Like even Wu Tang, when they made that one album that sold for like for like 1 million.
Yes. Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like and I was at House Shoes crib yesterday. He showed me like an artist did a tribute to MF Doom, and he did variant covers of all his albums, and he sold them as prints, but he printed them up on 12-inch sleeves. So I'm seeing a lot lately where art and music are becoming together. It's more natural now. It's more natural, and it's more of a that's the new shock value, trying to pinpoint the perfect blend of art and music. But some artists, they're so open with themselves and natural with themselves, is like, they see like me just signing this or cutting this, that's art. Sometimes you don't even have to touch the art for it to be art. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like art is of the essence. Like if you put in the thought, or if you like put in the time, if you touch the page, or if you just, put a fingerprint on it, sometimes like that could be considered art. Like it's all very subjective and abstract. So it's up to like artists to be fearless enough to step in the forefront to create such abstract things to manifest as like true art. Like this is the platform now. This is the plateau. This is what everybody wants to do. Like actually manifesting a vision, because some people can't follow the vision until it's like in their hands and they can see it. You feel me? And I feel like that's what it is with a lot of innovative forms of art. Like even with like crypto art right now, like crypto art is going crazy. So like I've been trying to wrap my mind around that, and that's like completely abstract to me. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the crypto art thing. I have to look it up because I did notice someone. Um, I can't remember who it is. He is selling the rights of one of his music pieces for what is considered a crypto, some type of cryptocurrency. I don't know if if it's an investment in his product that's attached to the cryptocurrency or not. But someone was talking about this to me last year or the year before, and yeah, it's I'm not a finance guy, so I can't get my head around it. Just like you were saying about crypto art, but you know, it's definitely something's brewing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just how do we get in there and benefit from it, get that Jeff Bezos money.
Man, for real. So I'm saying with the crypto art, you can make the coin, so it'll be a specific encrypted coin for the piece of artwork. You can either like have it for an auction, or people buy them one-in-one digital piece, and they have the encryption so they know it's theirs. But you can write in the encryption like so every time it resells, you get a percentage from the resale. So that's something new that artists really never had their hands on, because most of the time, like with Basquiat, like he probably didn't live to see some of his pieces reach triple millions, But once he passed, his pieces are sold for like, buku of money, and he can't touch a dollar. Or if
Yeah.
like Kerry James Marshall will sell something for 20,000 10 years ago, now it's probably like 20 million, and he doesn't see any of that. But
Yeah.
with the cryptocurrency, you can write in the code of like, I will always get this percentage from the resale. So that's like something new and interesting in it that I've been seeing.
Okay, that's great. That sounds amazing. So, there was something that you had posted, and I'm trying to understand. Were you getting, were you doing screen printing or having some screen printing done of your pieces, or is that
Yeah, I'm my fault for cutting you off. Yeah, I'm
no
doing
problem?
some screen print out in LA right now. So I've been coming out to like check colors and approve the final proofs and stuff in person, because I'm seeing like with the people that I'm working with, Calibri Art Studios, they're like one of like foreign in America right now that's printing like this. So it's like a very detailed process. So with silk screens, it's just like a T-shirt. Every color is a different screen. So it's like once, and the one that I'm working on with them is a 10 color screen print. So they had to do like 300 sheets, like all the yellows at once, let it dry. You feel me? Then do it again for an extra rich layer, let it dry, then move on to the red and so on. So today, they sent me a video of them adding a varnish layer. So the varnish layer is a clear textured layer that mimics my brush strokes. So it gives it a texture as if it's like a painting, but it's just a very well done silk screen print.
Wow. Okay. Because the work, like I'm a Warhol fan. I don't know a whole lot about, because they're specialists on Warhol and stuff. I just like looking at the shit, but but he did some amazing stuff with screen prints, and I've always been interested in that concept, that because I'm sure there's a lot of other people who've done it, but those pieces like of Liz Taylor screen print, or I think he did Marilyn Monroe. He did a Muhammad Ali one, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
I assume that they're really huge. I don't think they're like the Mona Lisa and this big. So are your pieces, are these like, how big are these pieces that you're doing? And what material are they on?
The pieces that I'm doing right now here in LA, they're like 40 inches by 60 inches. So like they're
Mm-hmm.
huge, you feel me? And it's not like a board, it's like fine art paper. So it's a thick enough texture paper to take on the ink. So it's not like bleeding through or anything like that. So and I'm also working on some prints back in Detroit as well, like on holographic paper. So that's like a whole different thing. And I feel like Warhol and like Keith Haring, that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from. And I feel like I like how they just like mass produce their work, you know. So they had their work like read that it'll read great as silk screens, you know, because it's flat colors and bold lines. So it's just easier to print. It's easier to produce, and it has like that bold, striking look. So I feel like that's where I'm at with my work right now. And I want to get to the point, even with Warhol, like he had other people just like the whole factory just making his silk screens. And he'd come by at the end and just do, you know, the hand embellishments. And then from there, you know, it's a Warhol, you know, but that's what really made me realize, like, you don't have to make the whole piece. It's sometimes about the production and the volume of the work. You can make 100 of these pieces, but if you sell it at X amount, that's more outstanding than just selling one painting sometimes. And then you build the mystique of that original painting. So it's a whole different ball game, but I love it. I feel like silk screens are one of my new medias that I'm in love with right now.
Fantastic. Always got to find something new to keep you excited. You know, when you talk to somebody who works at the post office, for instance. I mean, my dad worked at the post office. My brother works at the post office. But I find, and this happens on social media a lot, where you talk about something or you post something that is inspiring to you, you know, and or just something that you wanted to share, and that many people who will find it, you know, whether it's offensive to them or that they don't understand it or whatever, then there becomes like this kind of campaign about, you know, whether you're trying to show off or whether you're trying to do this or whether you're trying to do that, or blah, 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 blah. And it can really be uninspiring. And with artists, music artists or painters or graphic illustrators or whatever, I feel that every little thing, whether it's correct or not, whether it's politically correct or not, whether it's anything, those things attribute to what that inspiration is going to come to you at some point. It might not have inspired you this minute, but it's going to inspire you later. Like, I mean, I've got Parliament Funkadelic album, one of my favorite clones of Dr. Funkenstein is sitting up there. And someone might walk in the room and say, "Oh man, why you got that clones of Dr. Funkenstein up there, blah, blah, blah," and try to make it out like that's a bad thing. Now, I was watching this not documentary, a docudrama on Robert Mapplethorpe. And Robert Mapplethorpe, I already knew what he was doing was pretty intense, and his style and everything about it was pretty intense. But when I watched the movie and all the debauchery and everything that he was involved in, I was watching it thinking, like, you know, is this really true to life how this guy was, or are they just embellishing this for the movie? And a friend of mine, Toby, I told her about it. Toby Didio, she's an amazing graphic illustrator and painter, and I asked her, you know, if any of this was true, because she's lived in New York for 40 years or 35 years or whatever. And she watched it and she says, I knew some of those models, and yes, you know, I really miss those models, but yes, this is really the way that you know it was. And I mean, everything about what Mapplethorpe did with his work was pushing the boundaries, pushing it so far, pushing into people's morality, pushing into just like, you know, like, I hope you hate it. Because if you hate it, then it's going to be even better. But, you know, the movie makes it that he did get upset when people didn't like his work, when he couldn't get found. But I love that thing. And, you know, like, for instance, somebody who, like when we talked earlier and you were talking about your glasses, that about there being the Cartiers and stuff. And, you know, it's like a Detroit thing. I'm wearing the Cartiers, you know, that's like a straight up Detroit thing. But like, and I reposted earlier, you're painting on some ladies and stuff. And I love that. I love that because I know there are going to be people that are just going to be like, ugh, man, you know, it just doesn't fit into their social thing, you know? And I'm happy to see when I can see things that feel to me that influence a person's work and influence their art. And yeah, what do you think about that?
I feel like being an artist, it's a lot of different responsibilities because we do have that free reign to, like, you know, really go overboard. What I've really been thinking about lately is wanting to dig into more so of a positive energy when I make work. Not wanting to like focus on negative things or negative aspects of being like, you know, it's so many things to think about when I make my art, being a black man, being a Detroiter, thinking about you know, with the pandemic going on, black people getting killed every other day, you know, like it's so many things that I can dig into and like just have my artwork be about and around. But when I think about those type of things, like it pulls on me, you know. So I feel like as an artist, we should do things that pull us into a higher light, that pulls us into our own realm, that pulls us into our own comfort. And I feel like even with that photo shoot, I felt that was like the most comfortable shoot I've ever had. You know, like I just had an idea inspired by a Prince photo. It was like Prince laying down with the watercolor set, like in his bed.
Okay.
So I seen that, I was inspired by it. Then I had one of my friends, I asked her if she could take the photo. So I asked another one of my friends if she'd be in the photo with me. And then my lady, she was cool with it too. You feel me? So I really just treated it like you know, a Sunday afternoon. We just drinking champagne while I'm painting, you know. But I see with things like that, like it, once other people look at it, they just have their own thoughts about it and their own feelings. Like, you know, everybody got this normalized state of mind. They want everything to be normal. So when they see something that's like, I feel like that wasn't even, like everything was covered up. Like it was pretty clean. You feel like it was clean.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, every time I posted, I took that picture 4 years ago as well. But every time I posted, I just see people like, you know, just reacting to it. But I feel like, as a man, we not able to be as comfortable. You feel me? Like, you see a grown man butt ass, like it's not as feeling as a woman. You feel me? So, but I feel like I'm comfortable in my own skin, and that was just like me. Like I want to be able to be comfortable around women and being able to be vulnerable enough to be naked and just being me painting. You know, so that's my initial thought of the photo, and then being inspired by, like, you know, Prince. But other people see it, it's like, you know, it go crazy. You feel me? But it's up when you put stuff out there. It's up to the people. People gonna talk. You know, it's so much shit that I put out that people hated when it was first out. Then a year later, it's everybody's favorite shit. Like the What Up Though mural. When I did the What Up mural, people hated it. People hated it. Like they was really like. Everybody wants you to paint Aretha Franklin all the damn time. You feel me? Or like Motown all the time. You feel me? And I did What Up Though because it's like that's like a word rooted in my last 30 years, 31 years of living. I always heard What Up Though. I wanted to make an ode to it. But everybody was like, oh, you just going, that's all you going to write. That's all you going to do. You could have did so much more. You feel me? And I just worked with the wall because the wall was kind of fucked up. So it's like, I can't paint a portrait on here. I got to do, you know, my best. So that first 2 months, I caught slack. I'm just like, oh, my God, you know, whatever. Then they get like, you just see everybody taking photos in front of them. Oh, you know, what up, dog? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
man, you know, this is dope. So it's like, even when we was talking about Tyree Guyton and his own vision and stuff, like sometimes you got to put it there to let people feel. I feel like that's what the best thing as an artist. If you can have something that make people react, that's great. If it's a a good reaction or a bad reaction, art is about evoking emotion. You feel me? Sometimes it's not the emotion that you would want it to be, but you're still making a person dig deeper than they would initially thought before they either seen the painting or heard the piece, whatever media. So sometimes we just gotta like fuck it. You feel me? People gonna say what they want, but I'm gonna just do me. And I just been trying to do me in a positive light because it's so easy just to go down that road of, wanting to dig off of the negative energy that you get as being an artist and putting that into your work and, making, because I see a lot of people do that, but that shit is a wear and tear on your body and mind and soul. And you'll fuck around and die before you can reach your pinnacle. And you just gonna have to be a ghost looking at your painting selling for millions just because, the world was too heavy. So it's just, the shit crazy, bro.
Yeah. All right, man. I think this has been amazing to speak to you. It's been a great time. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
It's great. And keep up the good work. Everybody, Mr. Chiefy Mcfly.
Cardi's, you feel me? Cardi's on. Shout out to Detroit versus everybody. I seen you with the Detroit Hustle Harder on too.
That's right. Detroit hustles harder.
That's love. You feel? That's love, right?
All right. Beautiful time. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Hit me up anytime. I'm gonna definitely be calling you.
Okay. Good.
All right.
Good. All right.
For sure. Peace.
Peace. All right. I still never figured out. You click out.
I'm about to click out.
You click out.